What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League yet again. Talk about what we now see. Season 2 is out, and, there's a pretty interesting cutscene at the end of Season 2 that, to be honest with you, it came out. I saw some pictures, some things like that, and was like, and just never ended up picking it up, right? And then fast forward a few days later, I actually see the end cutscene, and it's like, oh, they're doing it, with the so spoilers, okay? They're doing it with the Justice League. They are actually going to bring them back. Now, it's not like I doubted them, right? It's more like, oh, now is when they've started it, right? I actually think it almost makes Joker feel more like a just kind of wild, like, why'd they even do that? Because it's like, you know what I mean? They're running out of time. It's like, oh, you're going to start bringing back Justice League characters, but you're doing it in Season 2. You're not going to do it in Season 1. So they bring Flash back. They reveal, I guess, maybe inadvertently in that way that, okay, these Justice League members are technically fine. I guess besides Wonder Woman, like, she's totally screwed, but everybody else is okay. And it's like, okay, so they're doing that now. Is it too late? And will they actually have time to finish this off, right? Because a worry that I have, and I haven't looked too deep into the leaks, especially not like recently. And even when the leaks originally came out, I think I kept away from them like as much as possible. So I might not be as deep as maybe what some of you are. You can let me know in the comments. If they brought Flash back in Season 2, right? We know they're going to go to Season 4. Like, that's confirmed. And then after that, I predict after that they're totally done. Technically, that's not what they said. Like, they kind of left it ambiguous, left it open, right? But I think you got 2 more seasons. You got Season 3, maybe in September. You got Season 4, maybe November, December, and you're finished. You can't, you have 3 Justice League members to bring back. Cutting to the chase, that's my dilemma that I'm thinking in my head, right? Where it's, and we can talk, by the way, again, of like, do people even care? That's something I want to discuss in this video. But even just the structure of it. Okay, you got to bring back Green Lantern, Superman, Batman. If you do it in order, then it'd be Green Lantern, Batman, Superman. So Batman Season 4, like, is that true? Is that true? Because if you're going to end at Season 4, you got to still bring back 3 of them. You just brought back Flash, and that took a whole season. You skipped it with Season 1. See, I think that's a bad look. Because at the end of the day, if you have 4 Justice League members, you got Seasons 1 through 4, you could clean it up right there, but they chose not to do it. So I just don't know how that's going to work. Like, will they... I feel like you almost have a moral obligation to bring Batman back, and whatever lines Kevin Conroy recorded 4 years ago, you hear them. Now, if it's anything like The Flash, it's going to be like 10 words. And that is highly disappointing. When I saw it, I was like, I guess this is fine. Like, again, my level of care is obviously not where it once was, right? But then I started thinking about it, and I started to see, even what other people were saying, and it's like, you bring back Flash, and that cutscene lasts maybe like, what do you want to say, 20 seconds? He says like 2 sentences. He passes out. It's over. Like, that's literally it. That's him coming back in. You realizing kind of what happened, even though we already, again, we kind of theorized and knew. And that's it. So, like, for Batman, are we literally looking at 15 or less words? Are we looking at 15 or less words with Superman and Green? You know what I mean? So, at that point, it's like, well, do we even want them to do it? But I really think, because of Kevin and all that stuff, I think you have an obligation to maybe even reverse the order. Like, if Batman was Season 5, you put him to Season 4. If you never get Superman back, I guess you never get Superman back, because you gotta bring Batman. And I don't know that. This is kind of like off the top of my head, speculation type stuff. That's one part of it, right? Where it's like, okay, you did it, but now it's like, well, was it even worth it? That's something also I guess we can talk about. But, like, you might not have time. Like, you've ran out of time, and why? Why? Well, that does lead us to that next part, right? Nobody cares. And I truly say that. I think I say that with more respect than most, like, WB YouTubers or, criticizers, online. I've always tried to stay strong, that although I have strong opinions, I know people that like this game. And I think that's cool. We all have our own lives. We all have our own stuff going on. God knows that I do. I have quite a few things going on, actually, right now. I get it. You should spend your money how you want. So I'm genuinely serious. I want to come across that way because that's what I genuinely believe. I know there's people that like it. Good on them. But when I say nobody cares, I'm kind of like larger picture, right? There might be a couple thousand that care, but there's like millions of others that don't care, okay? Just to kind of like level with you. The game is not performing well. We knew that. Season 2, it peaked a little, right? I think it got to like 600 or so players, up from 100 or 200, right? So it kind of like doubled, or if not tripled in size. but like you're not getting into the 1,000. You didn't even hit 1,000. And this is on Steam. As we've constantly said, it could be different on console, but to fool yourself into thinking that there's like hundreds of thousands of console players right now would be ridiculous, right? There's no way that's true. There might be a couple thousand and then under 1,000 on PC. That's what I've kind of always been willing to kind of like settle, right? That's the situation. People are done. And this, I think, is a good lesson. Honestly, it's a good lesson to WB. I don't think it's a lesson to us because I think someone like me and a good amount of my audience, by the way, we've been warning about this stuff for like years, right? Where it's like, if you can't tell a full story or if you can't tell most of it and even do a proper setup, then please, for the love of God, rethink your strategy, right? For Suicide Squad, I think I saw this on Twitter too, and it's exactly what I was thinking. Either tell the full story in the full game. It's why I hate generally, it's why I dislike strongly, let's say, live service, because at least in the wrong way. When they do live service and they split apart and you're not getting the full product at launch, that's when I hate live service, because you are purposely dismantling your game to keep people around for longer. And the huge weakness is if people do not stay around, you didn't get that full product. Technically, we are still not getting the full product. The vast majority, 98% of people, played the main game. And I don't think it really was a full game, but it was the main game, right? The rest comes after. I don't think that's good enough. It's also not good enough when you don't properly, I would say, promote what you're going to do. Their promotion for the seasons was fighting freaking 12 Brainiacs. That is, and I said that in my review. Those are some of the things I hated. I mean, we can talk about the story and characters and all that stuff, but mission variety is something I focused on. But also something like you end the game, you kill one Brainiac, and then you say, now it could have even been 13, whatever it is, right? You have to go out and you have to kill a baker's dozen Brainiacs. It's like, why would you? That sounds so tedious and so dull. There's nothing there. Why would you end your game setting that up? And then that's what you're going to do in these seasons. So what, you need 12 seasons to tell you? It's just a terrible way of setup. So in my opinion, they kind of told a full story, I guess. I don't think a very good one, but with a reliance on the rest of the story that would come later. And then also their setup to that stuff was terrible. So that's not how you do it. That's not how you do these type of games. That should be a lesson. Not a lesson to me. I called it. We called it. A lesson to them. And that goes to the point of, okay, I've said before, like, I was willing to see the story through. And I mean, like, I watched that Flash cutscene. I am, in a way, seeing that story through. But, like, do people care? And again, and it all circles, like, literally, I can say one thing. I'm just back again to what I just said 10 seconds ago, because it all connects, right? Like, you kind of did it, but you've lost 99% of your audience, so they're not even with you anymore. So should you even have done it in the first place? And then is it even quality in the first place right now, right? These are all things I'm thinking about, like, all at the same time. It's probably why I can't keep a straight topic. I have to jump around so much. That's the weakness here. So will they make it to season 3 and 4? I mean, yeah, I think they will. Again, they announced it. I do think that's possible. I don't know what you do, though. Like, you've got to combine Justice League members now in a season. Otherwise, you're going to run out of time. I do not think it makes it past season 4. And we've entered a point where I can hold true to my, like, okay, I'll see it through. We'll watch it. But also, like, people don't care. You look at the cutscene for Flash, at least when I watched it, it had, like, 30,000 views. There are millions of views on, like, the Clips channels for the cutscenes, like what they did to Batman and Superman, all that stuff. There would be millions of views. Now, it was probably angry people, and it might have been people that never bought the game in the first place, right? But it's still a lot of view, even from general YouTube viewership, regardless of whether people bought the game, bought it and left it, bought it and still played it, or not bought it at all, right? The viewership has tanked. People do not care. And again, that goes back to my main thing of, like, that's a weakness with doing it like this. It was always a shot this could happen. You have a shot, I guess, of it being the reverse, where the game's nice and healthy. But I mean, come on. Did we ever think, like, this game was going to be? Did they ever think? It's not really about us. Did they think, when putting this all together, that this game would be so freaking healthy and it would just be thriving, and they would just drop these seasons, drop these quick cutscenes, and just finish the story while people are enjoying themselves playing, at an 80% attachment rate, from the day one? Like, did they really think that? There's no way. There's absolutely no way. hence why they shouldn't have done it. But and I get it. I mean, we've talked about it before with like, well, who screwed them over? Like, did Sefton Hill and did they get themselves in trouble? They probably did. So you let me know what you think in the comments. Make sure as always you're subscribed to the channel, bell icon turned on. I hope to see you all on the next one.